Well, thank you all for being here. I really do appreciate it. It's quite a thing to have managed to pull off, so I appreciate you all being so flexible with it, because I know it took a bit of arranging.
No problem.
No, well, thanks for inviting us.
Yeah, I messed up the time, guys. I was here an hour early.
That's very keen. That was very
time
keen.
difference.
If you're gonna mess up your schedule, you should be early.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the better way to go. Yeah.
I was putting together all the questions, and then Damion messaged me and said, "We're going in 5, aren't we?" I was like, "No, it's in another hour. So if you want, you can hang out with me a bit early if you want to, but we're not going to be starting till for another hour yet."
I was like, "Oh, I could have slept longer."
If it's any consolation, I was up late doing stuff for the interview as well, so I didn't get as much sleep. So I'm with you on that camp. So you're not on your own. You're not on your own. Hello everyone and welcome to the big Payday 3 group interview. I am joined by 3 of the leading 4 cast members playing the lead heisters in Payday 3. So why don't we start with having each of you introducing yourself. Who are you and who do you play?
I am Pete Gold and I play Hoxton, as you might know, and I think we just worked out I've been involved with it sort of the longest out of the 3 of us. So it's 11 years now, I think, isn't it? It's been going?
Longer.
Yeah, a long time.
Longer,
bro.
yeah. The first Payday game was 12 years ago, so it's even longer than that.
God. Okay, I missed a year.
Damion and Nicklas will introduce themselves now while you just have a bit of an existential crisis, don't worry.
Yeah.
Damion Poitier, a.k.a. Chains, second longest involved.
My name is Nicklas Berglund, and I am the new voice of Wolf.
Yeah, he's the new blood. He's the new blood. I thought about it a little bit, but yeah, we've got voice actors who joined with each different game. So we've got Pete's been here from the first, Damion, you from the second, and Nicklas the third. That was all intentional. It was definitely planned out that way. I do want to say before we get into it, for everyone listening, because a few people are asking, Simon Kerr, who plays Dallas, was going to join us. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it. It's very difficult to try and arrange with people in different ends of the world to get a time to work. So unfortunately, he couldn't make it, but we will try and revisit that later, either on his own or, if you guys decide you want to do another group call, if the chaos isn't too much for you, maybe we'll do another one closer to launch. We'll see. But yeah, we will touch back with Simon eventually. So for anyone asking there, that will happen. So stay tuned. But yeah, so it's a bit of a funny one here to start us off, guys, because there's a couple of you I've spoken to Nicklas, this is the first time that we've interacted. So I figured we just start by having a bit of a catch up. Like, how have you guys been over the last few years for Damion and Pete, and Nicklas? Lovely to meet you. To start off, it's trying to balance who am I focusing on first here. I've got to try not to play favourites, right? How have you guys been?
Pete, I think we go in order of the appearance.
Go on, okay, I'll go for we'll take that as the preferred
Pete gets
running
priority on
order.
all of them. That's how it's going to work, right?
Age before beauty. Yeah, no, I've been good. I've been busy, and it's been great to get back in the studio doing stuff for Payday. That's been really, really nice after a gap of quite a while. Yeah, delighted. It's like one of the most fun gigs you could have, and I earn my daily crust from voice acting in one shape or form, but I mean, this is far and away one of my favourite bits of the job. It's great. So all well in sunny Rickmansworth here.
It's an iconic role. We've said this before, and I did say to you last time we spoke, I said, if you weren't going to come back for Payday 3, there'd be a riot. So I'm very glad that they haven't made the same mistake twice, right?
No, well, I mean, look, it's been nice, and it was quite overwhelming to be kind of petitioned back after sort of getting the sack, and it's been nice to be back ever since then, and I feel relatively secure now. I don't think I'll get the sack again. I feel like this is a job for life. I hope.
I hope not as well. I don't know if you know that, Nicklas, as well. That was because Pete he didn't come back as Hoxton at the start of Payday 2. They went a different direction then because everyone petitioned. He was back within a year. And that's still, Pete, one of my favourite things I've ever done was asking you about that, what happened, and me saying, I thought it was scheduling conflicts, and you just went, no, it's bollocks, I just wasn't asked. That's still, one of the funniest things I've had in an interview where you just were like, no, this didn't ask me. So I'm glad that they haven't done it again.
Yeah, I don't know, I still don't really, I never got to the bottom of what happened there, and it's just business, I don't know, there's nothing personal, I've never been offended by it, but a rumour started that it was my diary got in the way, and that was the first I'd heard of it. It was just I was waiting for the phone call and it never came.
I think it had to do with the web series and them trying to parse us over.
Yeah.
Because remember with the web series, that's how I got involved. The web series happened, and then they said, hey, you want to see if you can do this character too? And I'm like, sure. I'll get in there and do it. Yeah. And then, I just came through and just, banged on Chains and, no disrespect to my predecessor, but I guess I brought something to the role that the fans really responded to. And, so they kept me in. And it was like they liked Derek as Houston, but I feel like there was something about, Hoxton's voice is so iconic. The way you did it, Pete, that they were like, I think fans were like,
yeah, well, they've always been very nice about it, and I don't really take any particular credit for it. I think they could have got anyone shouting in a Sheffield accent, and loads of people would have gone, because it's exotic, isn't it? I think when the majority of the gamers were probably used to lots of American voiceovers, if you stick anyone in there who stands out and is a bit different, then people will go, oh, that's interesting, that's different. So I had it easier in terms of bringing something different to the role, I guess.
Well, same here.
No. Well, it's
pretty easy for me to when you look at the cast, bringing something different was not too difficult for me.
Already we're getting the advantages of having multiple people here, because there you go, you're immediately able to jump in with the web series, because that's what I was wondering. I figured, because the web series played a big part for you.
Yeah, I wouldn't be here if not for the web series. So I was very appreciative of that, and it's funny. That was just hey, we're doing this. Like, I didn't know much about Payday when we did the web series. They didn't give me any reference material or anything. I had no idea. They gave me the this is the character, but I didn't actually hear the previous voice, because I actually might have emulated it if I had, But so it was just kind of like here's the character, go. And I was like, okay, this is where we're going. Thankfully, it worked out, And it was a crazy ride going from this little web series to how many years now?
When did you film the web series? Was it in 2012 or was it in 2013?
I think it's 2011, dude. Because we shot the web series before it came out, obviously, And there was a bit of editing and things like that. But yeah, it was a while. Let me see. I can actually check. Hold on. I still got some emails.
I'm Googling it now, yeah.
Everyone's just doing their research as we go along.
Well, it says IMDb says 2013. Okay,
so maybe it was 2012
for the web series.
Yeah, so filming 2012. Yeah, so it's been 11 years for you as well. It's crazy to think about how long it's been, but I mean, I feel like even despite how many times I've said it, just thinking about Payday 2 being 10 years old now, or it will be next month, is just a crazy thought, honestly. Because I've been playing it since pretty much it came out, so I'm just sat here thinking, I didn't realise it had been that long. Yeah. It ages you in a moment, doesn't it? It's like, oh god.
Ages you?
Am I not allowed to say it? Is it too soon for me?
But it's funny, occasionally I get an email from someone and go, oh, I love Payday, thanks for being Hoxton or whatever, and they go, it's been a key part of my childhood, and I'm like, wow, So that's weird that it's like been an influence on people while they were growing up, and now they're old enough to vote and drive a car. So,
it's things like that, isn't it? Especially when they go like, "Oh, I grew up with you." Like I've seen actors hear that line before, and they go, "Has it been that long?" Like,
yeah. Oh dear. That makes you feel old, doesn't it?
Well, how have you been though, Damion? What have you been keeping up to? I know you've just released a book, have you not?
Yeah, so I'm really into Dungeons and Dragons and TTRPG and stuff like that. I don't really have a lot of time for it, but it's always been a favorite of mine. And it got to the point where I was kind of feeling like I wasn't seeing what I wanted to see. So I got together with a few friends, and we put together this beauty.
Oh, he's ready. That was right on cue. Yeah, perfect.
So it's
cool.
It's the original 5e setting, and look at that back cover, guys. Look at that. Look at that.
So
awesome.
good.
They stuck my mug on the cover.
So good.
Yeah. So that's incredibly exciting. I started Dungeons and Dragons at a young age, so to be able to put together a product that has my face on it, that's in that world, is stupidly. And because of certain conditions, I can't really talk about anything else I'm doing or have done.
Yeah, there are some things going on at the minute, are they not?
There's situations where nothing else can really be talked about, but that's mine. I put that together. I can talk about it.
It's so cool. It's so cool.
Thank you. Yeah, we did a whole Kickstarter on it last year. Went really good. I think we did 261% of what we asked for. So,
that's amazing.
Yeah, so we got a bunch of a bunch more. We had some nice stretch goals we put together. Some cool merch I'll be getting in soon. I got my own set of dice. Where are they?
Oh, go on.
Yeah, bro. I got dice with the symbol from the character.
Come on, let's see. Here's his flex. Let's see it.
Where is it? This is a 20.
Let's see the D20. Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's got, obviously got the full set. So that's pretty cool. And they all got the star symbol that I came up with for the character on him. So it's pretty awesome. So yeah, no, that's been, like I said, that's been as a personal thing, and you guys know it's hard to find time to get personal things going with all that's going on. It's pretty cool to have that going on and to be just able to play in that world and do things with that. So I'm very, especially when things like strikes happen and you can't talk about anything else.
What about you though, Nicklas? Because we were talking a little bit before we got started, and you were saying about how even your website, you hadn't updated it to English. You've kind of been used to more of the local bubble, right? With that, and this is like a new thing for you, going a bit more international.
Yeah, for sure. I've been all over the performing arts, and at a pretty young age, I fell in love with musical theater because it combined all the stuff I did and loved with dance, everything from classical ballet to tap to street funk, whatever you call it.
Wow.
Modern. And I also did a lot of singing, took a lot of singing lessons. Did, of course, the whole lead singer in a rock and roll band when I was younger and cooler. Yeah, and then, of course, theater. My main goal was from, I think, when I was starting out, when I went to school, when we could choose our upper secondary high school, where you could choose your what do you call it? It's gonna be a lot of this in this interview. Me not finding English words.
Don't worry. If anything happens, I'll just edit the gaps out, and you'll sound very clever, so it'll be fine. You'll be all good.
Nick, quite often I can't find the English words, so I don't. It's the only language that I really speak. So.
Everyone's in good company. You're fine. Don't worry. With the magic of editing, you'll never know a difference. It'll be fine.
Cool. No, but when we I got to go to an actual theater school. And for 3 years, and then my main goal was I was going to be a serious actor when I came in there. But then I met a lot of these people who want to be serious actors, and I hated all of them. So I found these other people in the business who were more fun and all about the entertaining and making people laugh, and I just, well, that's way more fun. And then that led me into musical theater, and I was like, yes, this is awesome. And the most difficult form of stage performance, there's so much that has to be good for a musical performance to be good, to be impressive. This is, if something is not right there, it becomes bad, and then I can talk for hours about that, of course. So I did the musical scene for many years, and also from there I've been around. I did Eurovision Song Contest, doing the background singing and dancing.
I love how that's something you just slipped in on the side. Like that's massive. What?
That's awesome.
That's a big thing in Europe. Yeah, and then I found voiceover and dubbing, and COVID came, and since then, or actually a year before that I've been working full time as a voice actor. That's all I've been doing since a year before COVID. Brilliant
timing. I mean, if you're going to switch to voice acting, do it just before a pandemic when you can work from home and don't have to go to a theatre. That was a real stroke of luck, really.
For sure. I had friends who had to leave their apartments, who had to sell their cars, who got struck really bad, who were working on stage, and I was just. Whew.
Nice bit of serendipity.
I dodged a bullet there, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was a really rough time for anyone working in kind of live performing arts in theatres, we're very lucky that we've managed to keep any kind of performing arts industry in this country at all. Really, it's a miracle. And I came across a lot of people who were actors, they were performers, they were on the West End stage, and the pandemic hit, and they were like, right, can I get into voiceover? How do I set up a studio in my cupboard? Yeah. And there was a lot of that going on. Right.
Yeah, but because by that time I was also, but that the reason I felt I could leave stage performing was because I had my hooks into that business. I was directing, I was casting, I was of course singing and doing the voices, but so. As you say, my inbox, my work email was a boom, exploded with all my colleagues were like, help!
Yeah, either you were ready for it or you weren't. There were two very distinct camps. There were some people who were very glad they had a home studio, then other people quickly rushing to IKEA to buy as much as they could to set up a makeshift one.
Yes, nailing blankets to the walls.
Scary stuff, but hopefully we're on a better path now. With let's see how this strike turns out.
Yeah, they're fighting hard to kill whatever progress we've made.
Strange times,
Very, very.
but we're having fun.
Yeah, exactly. As long as you're enjoying yourself, it's what we said earlier, right? As long as you're having fun, that's what matters most. So let's stick with you just for another minute, Nicklas, purely because people who don't know, I have done interviews with Damion and Pete before. I will get them to recap the answers to this, don't worry. But if you want to hear the longer form answer, you can go and check the previous ones out. I'll leave links, so don't worry. But you specifically, Nicklas, with you being the newest casting, and most people are interested, how did you getting cast as Wolf happen? What set that event in motion for you?
I was doing this wonderful studio in Stockholm. Am I allowed to say names of studios?
If you're not sure, then don't. You can always give like a loose...
I don't have my NDAs with me, but a wonderful studio in Stockholm that I've done a lot of voice work with. I did Biomutant.
Oh, yeah.
Again, yeah, I did a lot of voice work for that. We're doing alien voices. It was crazy. We were inventing new languages with just saying like ooh, like, and then they were editing it all together and making characters talk. It was crazy. I did an alien Elvis. It was so weird.
How do you do an alien Elvis?
I'm sure you can find it on YouTube. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with that, and apparently impressed someone, because they then asked me back sometime later to do the auditions for this character. It was so weird. I was doing, during the auditions, I was dubbing a miniseries for Netflix, a Swedish miniseries produced by Netflix called Clark. And it's about Clark Olofsson, who was a bank robber that gave rise to the whole phrase Stockholm Syndrome.
Okay.
If you're familiar.
Yeah.
That phenomenon, Stockholm Syndrome, comes from a bank robbery that took place in the late 70s. Bill Skarsgård, one of the wonderful Skarsgård sons, he wasn't unavailable to do his English dubbing, so they held auditions, and I got that part and did Bill Skarsgård's voice in English.
Oh, wow.
So I was so into this bank robber mentality when I did the auditions. It was perfect. I was like, what? But you're auditioning, when I went to the studio for Payday 3, they say that you're going to be a bank robber. I was like, are you kidding? I'm a bank robber all day long right now. I've been recording for weeks as a bank robber. I'm ready for this. Let's go. So it went well. And I think I have a lot of Clark and that production to thank for that.
That's
I
awesome.
think maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's good. It's quite a good overlap, that, isn't it?
A lot of Clark, the like in Sweden at least, the original bank robber, or the most famous one. He made this whole weird thing about being a famous criminal. He was like the first one. He was such a character, so he charmed journalists, and so a lot of his flair bled into my performance as Wolf. So I think it's interesting that now that Wolf in Payday 3 has a kinship to Clark Olofsson.
The original famous bank robber from...
yeah. And I suppose
From
that's
the
like
modern age, I
that's
guess,
a beautiful
That's awesome.
beautiful
Yeah.
you could write into the character, right? Because the whole thing is Wolf was like a Swedish, those game developer turned bank robber. It was all meant to be very meta with Ulf originally, but like you could I feel like that's a really good way to relate like a bank robbing route into Wolf to refer to him. That's a great way of doing it. I quite like the sound of that. Had you had much experience with Payday before getting the audition, or
None. I had no idea what it was.
oh, you're all the same, you lot. It's very disappointing. No.
Old and boring. I'm sorry.
In Pete's defense, there was no Payday before he got involved. So I don't know that you can,
That's true.
I don't know that
He
you
makes a
can
good
call him on that one.
point. He makes a good point.
That's true, but I did personally hold up a bank when I was a teenager, so
Are the police listening to this? This might be a problem. I don't know. Nobody take this out of
None of
context.
I once spoke loudly in a bank and had a strong conversation with the authorities, so.
That count?
Oh,
No, it's all been, for me, it's just been, I played the Amiga in the 80s, and then it was my son's Nintendo when I came back to it.
So I feel like if I ask any of you if any of you have been playing any Payday in the last few years, I feel like the answer's going to be a no for all of you, right? Yeah, okay.
It's hard to make the cool things and play the cool things. You know, it's like you work on so many cool things. You have to like you almost have to do it like professionally. You know, it has to be like a thing where you're doing like a charity stream or something because you're so busy making the next cool thing or looking for the next cool thing you're going to be making. You know, you're down and with downtime and doing something you worked on. You know, I don't want to hear myself screaming at myself all day. That's a little
Note to self: do group charity stream with the what? Sorry, that's how I do it now. That's how I rope you in. I get you to. I say it's for charity, and then you guys go, "Oh, fine, we'll have a go. We'll have a try." Just out of interest, then, because I know I've heard from different actors in the past, like at what point you guys get brought in. When did you guys like get cast for you, Nicklas, and for Damion Pete? When did you start working on Payday 3? How far back does that go? Is that a recent thing, or did you start a few years ago?
I guess I go first on this one. Pretty recent.
Yeah, go for it.
I should go last, I think, on this.
Yeah, it was a recent thing. It was late last year, I think, was the initial conversation about things, and then yeah, that was where I popped in. How about you, Nick?
I'm gonna go ahead and say, I think it was earlier. It was,
Yeah, want an exact date, otherwise the answer's going to be terrible, Nick. Now.
I think I'm horrible. I'm thinking about my invoices.
Hey, whatever works. If that helps you answer the question,
that's
you
what
know.
I'm doing now. I'm now looking through my admin history to see when I was first contacted about it.
We just have a little pause, like a little intermission, while you guys look up your invoices to answer the question.
If you want the right answer, I can go ahead and see what I can do here.
I mean, it was only like out of interest one, but honestly, now you guys are going to the effort. I kind of do want to know. Yeah.
Well, so I've got emails that go back as far as July last year.
Oh, so it's been within the last 12 months. Then is safe to say.
It's been about 12 months, I think, in coming. Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of talk about it. I mean, even before that, was a lot of talk, and I think this project has been. There goes my light. This project's been a long time coming, hasn't it? I mean, they've been talking about Payday 3 for what, 4 or 5 years or more, I think. And then,
longer.
Yeah, and then you know, sort of official channels, I got approached, as I say, like maybe 12 months ago, I think.
Because that's going to be the thing as well, is that when you see any kind of public news, I mean, for you two specifically, when you see like any art going out, because I mean, they put an image up, I think it was summer 2021, like saying, oh, the original 4 are coming back for Payday 3, and like I'm still there now, having spoken to some of you guys before, thinking, so did Damion and Pete, are they on board yet, or are they like because it's got to be weird seeing that a character's announced is coming back before you're approached about it, right?
I think probably people had said, I mean, I think I'd had sort of casual conversations at the end of recording sessions about, well, you know, would you be interested if we get, you know, if we take it any further? And I've gone, yeah, absolutely. So that's kind of, you know, gospel in terms of, I don't think they would say they're definitely coming back before they actually spoke to the artists about it on some level, but it was very informal, the conversations I had about it.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk about it, and you know, as I don't think during the pandemic, I don't think there was much conversation. There was personal conversation, but I don't think there was much professional conversation about it with the team, and we weren't sure what was going on, how things were going to go, so. But I think, I just looked it up. It was actually late August, I was contacted.
There you go. So it's all within the last 12 months. Because I think it was Ian in particular who said that. Locke, who said that he normally, whenever he gets asked to do his recordings, it's normally like one of the last things they do, that they reach out to the actors. So I always find that interesting to know how far ahead you guys are brought into it.
There are so many moving parts when it comes to productions. You know what I mean? Like, so many moving parts. And it's, in some ways, they kind of assume you'll be available. And in other ways, you know, they're like, oh gosh, we hope. So it really depends upon how the production's going, and you know what the organization level is, or what the project management level is on how they're doing things. But like I said, we've all been poked. Like Pete said, we've been poked. Like, hey, you know, 3's coming up. What are you doing? What are you thinking? You know, and it's like,
nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Yeah, you up for it?
Well, it's funny because in a lot of voice acting jobs, the voice actor is the bottom of the food chain. Like, somebody's making a TV commercial, they've been working on it 18 months. A voice actor gets booked in like month 18. You know, like with an afterthought. Whereas with this, I think obviously they knew that they needed us to be around. But there's no point booking someone to come into a studio until the script's absolutely concrete, I think.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's interesting to see the process and to kind of be, aware of what's going on. But, and, you always, and I'm sure Pete can attest to this, you never put stock in it until you get the actual call.
Yeah.
Or you shouldn't. You should try not to put stock in it until you get the extra, because things shift and move so fast in this business, and sometimes your number comes up and sometimes, it doesn't quite make it in. So
yeah, you just kind of have to cross your fingers and hope for the best and don't get replaced again, right? Like I said, Pete, you've got job security now. I said that to you at the time. I was like, they're not going to make that mistake again. I knew we couldn't say like you definitely won't, but I was like, they know.
They could always do a new crew.
They could, but, but let's be honest, they'd be stupid too. What?
But it's interesting how much it's expanded since the original 4, and there's now 20 or more characters, the kind of core characters in it, and so that's brought a whole new level of kind of richness and diversity to the heisting team, I think, and I think the fans really enjoy that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, especially now that they've said as well we're going to have 6 characters at launch for 3. I mean, we don't know who the other 2 are. I don't know if any of you know any secrets. I'm not going to ask you, obviously, but we know there's going to be 6 at launch, so there's already a little bit of that diversity, and it's a nice element to it. But it's nice to have the core 4 back. I think that's a very important thing. I do as much as Payday has got a diverse cast, you need the originals, I think, to really push it. I don't know. But you mentioned about the script, Pete, and this is something that I'm quite interested in because, as a lot of us have said, it's been 10 years since Payday 2 came out, since the last mainline game, aside from anything you've done post-launch for updates and heists and things. So, to any of you, to Pete and Damion Moore, has anything changed with the characters since Payday 2 in the way that you portrayed them? Anything changed? And then for you, Nicklas, we can do it in any order. Like, how do you feel like you've presented Wolf maybe similarly or differently to his previous performance? I don't know who wants to go first there, because obviously there's 2 different questions based on who's who.
Pete goes first.
It's always Pete. It's always Pete. Pete, how do you think Hoxton's changed, if at all, since Payday 2?
Well, so my answer's very short. I don't think he's changed at all, really. I don't, I think it's more of the same. It's good old Sheffield swearing and verbal abuse. And
just what the doctor ordered.
He hasn't mellowed with age. It's the same old Hoxton, and I think that's what people want, and it's certainly what I enjoyed delivering. So yeah, no, expect more of the same.
Good. That's what you want to hear, Damion.
It wasn't broke, so you didn't fix it.
There you go. Because I know they've talked a bit about, from the narrative perspective, it's been 5-10 years since the some of the key events in the story, that kind of thing. So the characters have aged and they're going to carry things with them. And I was like, how different are they going to sound? No, I want to hear swearing. I want to hear Hoxton going off on verbal rants. I don't want that to change. I want that to stay the same.
Well, that's good. No, he hasn't mellowed. He hasn't settled down, raised a family.
Well, they told me. I asked them, do you want me to sound like... Of course, when I did the voice testing, I understood, because I've replaced characters before, and my profession is sounding like an original.
Right.
But in Swedish then, or in English is sometimes as well, apparently. I asked them, do you want me to really work on sounding like the original guy, and they were like, no, you do your thing. But it's great as if you sound like him.
Yeah. We don't want to tell you to sound like him, but
Yeah. I found this beautiful clip with all of Ulf's takes. I think it's 40-minute clip on YouTube, and I listened to that in the car every time I went to the studio. I listened to his track and tried to find his little things. But a lot of people I've talked to about the character in the production team, and also, as far as I can tell from the community, Wolf is all over the place.
Yes.
That is if there's something that everyone agrees on, is that he's all over the place.
He's a maniac.
That phrase, all over the place. I hear it. I've heard it many times, and I was like, "That's great. That's me. Just check my homepage. I'm all over the place. You can't put me in a box where I belong." So I just went with that. It gave me a lot of freedom to just go nuts, and apparently that's what Ulf did also. You can hear his passion for the character, passion for the project. I mean, I might be all wrong here, but he was one of the guys that made the first game or games or something like that. He was involved in the production, and you can hear that in his voice, and I can tell like this guy like bleeds for this, and I just took that and cranked it up to 11.
So it's kind of maintaining the spirit of Wolf with maybe with the new edge, as you said, with like the inspirations from, you know, other famous Swedish bank robbers and such. So it's kind of like Wolf but with a modern twist, maybe we could say. Yeah,
I tried to make him. I made my headcanon for, or made my own story about who he is and what he's done, and whether or not he has some kind of mental problems and what they are and everything, and that's for the fans to speculate about. But I have my idea about who he is and why he does what he does, and I did the actor thing, you know, what's my motivation, which is something all actors like the first question we ask, so what's the motivation for robbing banks, for him robbing banks? What does he want the money for? What does he want to buy? I asked questions like that, and the writers, they told me that the other guys, Chains and Hoxton, they have their reasons for why they're doing what they're doing. Wolf just does what he does because he loved to rob banks.
Wolf is just there. He's happy to be there, you know.
And that one, okay, he's a kick seeker. And I can relate to that. And he is angry. He's really, really pissed off. He has a huge chip on his shoulder. I can work with that. I can work that in. And it's a lot of for me. I heard from the original character and what I got from the writers. It's a lot of, you know, a sense of I've been wronged and I want a piece of the world. I just want to go out there and take something back. Just fucking. Sorry, but
no, you're all good. You're all good.
Okay.
Most of the people who are listening has probably played the game, so they're familiar with the F-bomb.
Yeah, they're not going to hear you swear and go.
Worse.
All right.
It's far enough in the interview that YouTube aren't going to like take my money off me. You're okay. Don't worry. You're fine.
Yeah, but so when the game drops, I'm just going to have to lean back and hope that bring back the original Wolf thing doesn't get too many.
Don't worry, that was just for Pete. That was just the Pete Gold fan club. You won't get that again. That's fine. Don't worry. No, that's the thing though. Is that because when I played the game a couple of weeks ago and I made the trip out to Sweden, it was one of the questions I got asked quite a bit was, how does Wolf sound? Like, what's Wolf like? Because people love Wolf. He's like a very treasured character, so people were really keen to hear. And I think the build I played, there weren't tons of voice lines. Like, the only thing I heard in terms of pages and stealth was you, Pete, saying you were busy eating beans on toast.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, that kind of already gave me the impression. I was like, okay, right, so I know where we're going with this. But like I said, I've heard some lines from all of you, and I was like, the voice performances all sound fantastic. And I kind of felt like with you, Nicklas, you kind of had the edge of Ulf there, like trying to emulate him a little bit, but also put your own spin on it, so you're not like limited by it. Which I think is the best way to do it. I mean, as Damion's proven, he didn't even know about his predecessor. He just went in with his own spin and people liked it. So, you know, sometimes newer things do work. Sometimes a mix works. And I think what you've done is really, really good. I genuinely do. As for all of you guys, you know, I'm not going to play favourites here. As soon as the interview's over, I'll play favourites. But, you know, not here. Not right now. Speaking of freedom then, and this is really for any of you guys, in the recording process for Payday 3, you've got your script, you've got an idea of the character, some of you, make it up, some things in your head of like what the motivations are, as you've said, Nicklas. How much creative freedom do you guys get in portraying the character? Is most of it limited to the script, or do you get to put your own spins on it any time?
I feel like Damion should go first on this one.
Oh, there you go. I love this nomination process every time. This is brilliant.
I always throw an extra line or two, pretty much on every line. Like especially once I start getting the flow going, it just comes. Like, there's always a line or two that comes, and you never know which one they're going to use, if they're going to use all of them. But yeah, it's pretty. Like, I make sure that they get what they wrote, and then I'll throw in at least one alt all the time. Like, I think on pretty close to every line, they'll get at least one alt out of me. But with having done the character so long and having the shorthand of who he is and what he is, and then there's. It's not there's some translation issues. Well, issues is the wrong word. There's some translation stuff that just I feel like being closer to the source material than maybe some of the people writing it, or closer to the character base than some of the people writing it, I might be able to interpret it, in a way that comes across a little better in some places.
Yeah.
So, or it flows a little better out of my mouth, I guess would be a better way to put it. Not comes across a little better, flows for me a little bit.
With age comes wisdom, right? That's what they say.
With experience comes wisdom. Why does everybody keep bringing up age?
All right, sorry. I didn't realize I'd struck a nerve. I didn't realize.
Well, it's been exactly the same for me, and it's interesting because I feel like when they first started out, there was some Swedish guys trying to write Yorkshire slang. And I mean, I can't begin to understand how impossible that was for them.
Yeah.
And they did a fantastic job on it. But I think because they realised that this was not their kind of natural medium, they kind of went, Pete, what would you say? So right from the get-go, I was given a little bit of license to reword some of the lines or rephrase them or add in my own stuff. And like you were saying, Damion, that's a really fun part of it. And actually, I think probably when I was recording the stuff for Payday 3, I made sure I stuck to the script a bit more. And that's partly because I felt like actually they've got the hang of it by now with writing for Hoxton. I can't do it better than they can anymore. They've absolutely nailed this. But I would add the odd little thing in. But you're right, you've got to give them what's written and then you can go to the playground. That's fun.
Yeah, gotcha.
In the beginning, I was very much in my head about all the things I have to think about, like the voice match and the whole thing. I have to add, it was pretty new for me. I've been working with when you do dubbing, it works kind of differently. I had no visuals to go on and stuff like that, so it was different, and I was finding my way of doing it, pretending to hold a gun. After a couple of takes, I realized I was like, what's this? I'm holding something. What is this?
That's great.
Gun.
He's getting in on the character.
Yeah. So I was, so I don't. I gotta be honest. I didn't do that much ad-libbing, and and I felt really, what do you call it? Respectful to the material. I just assumed that these people know how to write lines for this guy.
Yeah.
That said, one of the last sessions we had, I might have gone a little bit off script, and as far as I could tell, they liked it.
Oh, okay. All right.
But I don't know if they're gonna use any of that.
Well, you're Swedish, and the character's Swedish, so they're going to be a lot.
Yeah.
They're going to be a lot closer to home when they're writing the dialogue for that character than anywhere else. Depending on where the writers are from, because actually they do have writers from different areas. They did on Payday 2. I'm not sure where the writers were from on Payday 3.
But it's so refreshing, isn't it, to be involved in something where they will go, okay, now you do some stuff, you add to it. Because in most voice acting jobs, it's just like, no, you stick to what's on the page. But this is really refreshing to be able to mess around with it.
Yeah, and I think it also reflects the character, right? Like, you can tell that the actor's enjoying themselves a little bit more because they have had that chance to experiment. Like you said, it's like a bit of a playground. Well, since we talked about a bit of a playground, I know I showed Damion the question a bit ahead of time, and he said he didn't know if he'd have an answer to this. Maybe that hasn't changed, we'll see. But if any of you guys got any favourite lines that you've recorded, if you can share anything that comes to mind, if say, here's something that I thought was particularly funny, or are they all just, I feel like just a recording session in general is probably a bit crazy anyway, right?
You're just in it. You're just going, and you're zipping through, and it's like, I hear lines I don't remember recording sometimes.
I had this conversation with Pete because there was a phrase, I think it was when Reservoir Dogs came out, there was, and pardon my language here, there was a line from Hoxton where he goes, oh, fuck me, my arsehole's going. And everyone was like, what? What is he saying here? What does that mean? Like, it was such a random line, and everyone was baffled by it. And I mentioned it to you, and you went, I don't remember recording that.
No. I think they recreated that with AI. I never said those words.
You gotta hope not, blimey. That's why I wonder, because I suppose when you're in that recording session for such a long time doing all those wild lines, you don't have chance to really notice something that stands out because it's all a bit out there, right?
Yeah, and you just it flows.
Yeah, I don't remember half the shit I came out with in the recording session. Somebody for Payday 3, there's a line where Hoxton says, "Sniper, no sniping," and And I'd forgotten I ever said that. And I think it was one that I made up years ago because my son was busy watching Dora the Explorer,
yeah.
and where swiper no swiping is a thing. And I just went, wouldn't it be funny if Hoxton said sniper no sniping? And now it's in the game.
Oh,
Which is amazing. It's not very gangster, is it?
No, but it's very Hoxton. It's very Hoxton.
It's all in the delivery. Who's to say what's gangster? If you deliver it properly, anything's gangster.
Yeah, hopefully.
And that's the best thing now. If it's not in the game, we're going to get people asking for the sniper cards.
They're probably taking it out, yeah.
Oh, imagine. Oh, I hope we hear that line now. There we go. Also, just while we're on the topic of recording, did any of you, I'm presuming it's a no, but did any of you record anything together at any point? Was anyone else in the room? Was each of you doing it solo?
Yep.
Yeah, always solo.
Yeah.
There was. I seem to remember somebody talked about at some point in the last couple of years. Somebody was like, "Oh, wouldn't it be great to get you all out?" I was really hoping to be flown out to Sweden. That's really what I wanted. But there was talk about getting everyone in the same room together, or a few of us in the same room together. But it's expensive, it's logistically difficult, and I think it just makes the whole recording and editing process a lot harder. Hopefully, like our performances, even though we're done in isolation, our performances are okay, without the extra sort of chemistry you get by all being in the same room.
Yeah, exactly. Because I know one thing people have been asking for is like more conversations between the characters when you're playing, because that was a big thing in the first game, but it wasn't as much of one in the second. So I suppose that partly plays down to the fact that you are on your own, that you don't get to have that, like you said, that peer-to-peer chemistry when you're both recording at the same time, because you're not afforded that opportunity, right?
I'd be open to the idea of flying out to Stockholm to spend a week recording stuff. I mean...
Let it be known. There you go. Get them out there.
I don't think that would hurt anybody's feelings.
No, it wouldn't. Get everybody out there. Fly them all out, You have to arrange for maybe a good Uber for Nicklas, but planes for the other guys. You can make it work.
Very welcome.
Well, here's a bit of a little kind of side jokey one that I just want to ask about, because Pete, we chatted a bit in the last time we spoke about you doing your comedy songs, which was also a really funny thing just to get to know about. Nicklas, you said you've done some singing as well. Damion, you've had a bit with the pickle thing, in particular, Payday 2, going on with that. Are we going to get a Christmas album at any point from you guys? Are we going to have some kind of singing thing with all of you getting involved? Can we make that happen?
I'd love that.
That sounds awesome.
I know, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Right. So we've expressed the interest. The seed is planted.
We have the bass. I'm a tenor. Pete, are you like a...
Well, I'm a tenor. I could go alto. That would be okay. Yeah.
We're going to get you all harmonising in the call now, just as a bit of a practice.
Yeah, I don't know a performer who's like, oh no, I don't want to do more fun work. I don't know anybody who's.
We're yes men. We have gotten to where we are because we say, yeah, sure, that sounds...
Yeah, and this is the thing,
That's
right?
exactly
Is that, Pete will know this better than you guys possibly, but they did another Christmas song for Payday 2, not last year, I think the year before now, where they got Pete to sing another Christmas song. Today is Payday 2. And I don't just say this for the joke of it. It's generally one of my favourite Christmas songs. It's just so good. The production on it is just actually really, really well done. So,
oh my God, they did an incredible job on the production. Really.
Yeah, that song is so brilliant. It's like when you get a Christmas song so good that you kind of just want to listen to it when it's not Christmas, because it's just stuck in your head on loop. And I'm saying it now, it's going to be stuck in my head again now after this.
No, that was great fun. I really enjoyed recording that. No, I'd be up for more of that, definitely.
And it speaks to what we said, right? Is that you hear it more in your performance, and you can just tell you're having a laugh going along that. Give me that guitar, in the back, all these little lines and stuff are just they're so brilliant. So yeah, Christmas album, we need that to happen, or just some kind of song album for the heisters.
Or the 12 Heists of Christmas, or which one we do a few years back? I think that was my favorite. It was like,
Looking at it,
and the broke dick piece of shit drill. Yeah, that was.
That is such a good thing. 5 bullets left. All those lyrics are just brilliant. There's a lot of opportunity there, right? There's loads of different things you can still do. So yeah.
Oh yeah, that was
cool.
a lot of
So
fun.
again, that's the seed planted. There we go. Now they know that people want it. So. Moving on from that then, a couple of other things I want to touch on, because we have got some audience questions I want to try and fit in towards the end of this. Let's focus on live action, because I want to just address this a little bit, because I'm imagining I already know the answer to this question, but as presumably all of you guys know, live action is a very big element with Payday as a franchise generally, and it was announced a few months ago that they were working on a live action adaptation for Payday. Whether it be a TV series or a film, we don't know yet. I don't even think they've decided yet, to be honest. But do you guys have any information, any of you, that you can share about it? And assuming the answer to that is no, which I imagine it's going to be, would you guys be willing to work in it if you were asked?
No and yes.
There you go. Are we all agreed? Are we all agreed?
Yeah, what he said. Yeah, absolutely.
100%. Thanks for taking that bullet there, Nick. He just jumped right.
There you go. There you go.
Coming in strong, Nick.
There you go.
Coming in strong.
It's gonna look so funny on YouTube because I'll have all like the questions for like how long it is in the video, talking about things that'll be like, why is the live action section so short? Nick just summed it up. Job done. There you go. So that's that question answered. Thank you guys very much.
Do you need us to waffle for like 5 minutes?
Yeah, we can
If you
put
have something to
together.
say, feel free, but we've got plenty out to go through, so it's up to you. Because, I mean, Pete, as you've said, you've not done the live-action stuff before, but if you were asked, you'd be there, right?
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, look, I'm 50 now and I can't kind of run around pretending to shoot people. I just... Wait a minute. There'd be a lot of that in the
Hang on a
filming.
minute.
You know.
Hang on.
We'll do some advance notice. We'll get some training in. You'll be fine.
Can we do some stealth live action? That'd be easier to do.
I mean, come on, the whole setup with us putting on masks whenever we're gonna do something really athletic. That's perfect.
Yeah. Get the stunt double. That's right.
You don't see the sweat, you don't see out of breath, and if you need to, someone else... I mean, you said that before, Damion. If the mask's on, you're not there, so you got someone else filling in the gap.
Can just be our beautiful Swiss.
No, I'd absolutely be up for it. I mean, it would be so much fun. But I mean, I'd be happy to be involved in whatever capacity they see fit.
I'm just happy if I get to continue.
There you go.
I'm just hoping I haven't pissed off too many people.
I don't think you will have done. I don't think you will do. So the general idea is if they ask you, you say, show me the money, job done. Like, you know.
I think as a performer, that's general for everything.
Exactly. It is. But it's also good if you can say it to something you like the sound of, right? Sure.
It's always nice. Well, the amount of money that it ends up being is directly related to how much you like it.
Is that a shared sentiment, gents?
If you're asked for something arduous, the price tag goes up a bit, you know?
It's a funny thing because there's a lot of, I mean, there are definitely gigs that you do for the money, and then there are gigs that you do for the love, and you have to sort of balance both, I think, in your career. And to be honest, I'm just grateful for any kind of work. I've been doing this 25 years, and I'm just grateful when the phone rings, to be honest. So I've enjoyed every minute of Payday, and I'd like to be involved as much as I could for as long as I can.
Same here.
There you go.
I'm with that.
Well, fingers crossed we get to see you involved then. There you go.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
So we're going to do some audience questions as well. We've got asked a lot of questions, and I will just say for everyone listening, a lot of you guys asked very similar questions. So if I say this person asked it, there were other people who asked it as well. I've just picked out one particular comment. So thank you to everyone who did. But we got our first question from Indonesian Wolf, and this is aimed at you, Nicklas. He wants to know, how are you on the dance floor? He also wants to say good luck, and all the Wolf fans are counting on you. So no pressure, but
Well, I'm quite good on the dance floor. Yeah.
Oh.
I have a background as a professional dancer. It sounds weird when I say it now because it's a long ago, but I was indeed a professional dancer and did that for a living and got paid and got put on TV and all that. So I think you can find a show reel of my stage hijinks as a dancer on YouTube. I think you can find it. He called me and said, hey, someone has commented on the show reel that I put up that I have on my account. All it says was, that's the guy from Payday. Yeah, so, in all the Swedish modesty, yes, I'm very good at dancing.
Okay, so next one comes from Mori, aimed at Damion and Pete. He wants to know, how has your characterization of your characters, Hoxton and Chains, changed over the last decade? Like, how you view them, anything around that? Has anything changed about how you characterize your performances over the last 10 years?
Well, we sort of touched on this briefly before. I don't feel like Hoxton has changed very much. It's a bit like The Simpsons, isn't it? Like Bart Simpson's been 8 years old for the last sort of 30 years or whatever, and I don't think anyone wants to hear about Hoxton like growing old and settling down, and having a family, and he's still a bad boy, and he's still from the wrong side of the tracks, and he's still a violent nutcase. Yeah.
Can you sum it up any better than that? I don't think you can. Damion, what about you?
Not too much. I think I actually went a little lower in my register for 3. I don't know if you noticed it when you played.
Ooh. Yeah.
I kind of went a little gruffer for Chains for 3. Like it was like I said, just a little lower, a little more, like a little less refined, as it were. If he could get
any less refined.
A little more muscle to the punch as well. 'Cause that's the thing
yeah.
as well in game. I don't know if you've noticed, but like they've actually got unique like bodies now for all the characters. Because in Payday 2, they're all very kind of similarly built. At least the gents are. But I knew playing it because when I first popped in, I was like, right, pick a character. So I picked Hoxton, and then I joined the lobby, and I was the last one to join, and someone else had already picked Hoxton. So I was stood there, and I was like, Hoxton's not that muscly. I was looking, going, there's a really muscly guy here. Like, oh, it's giving me okay, so you can kind of like see the like even just the change of the physical appearance. So yeah, the lower register would match well with, Chains being putting on a bit of the muscle. He's packing a bit more of a punch, maybe,
I tell you what, there's an interesting thing you were talking about. This, I think they've probably done this for everyone on YouTube. Somebody has taken the time to upload everyone's lines in a single file, so you can go away and listen to your own lines. And I listened to the video for Hoxton. Is a lot of the stuff that I recorded 12 years ago, and somebody's commented underneath, says, "How come he always sounds like a big girl's blouse when he's being electrocuted?" So he's swearing, he's like that most of the time, and then when he's in pain, he's like,
yeah.
And actually, I listened to it all and I thought, shit, that's a really good director's note. Thank you very much. I won't do that anymore. So whoever posted that comment, thank you. It was very helpful.
I kind of like the disparity though of the. This is how you are, and then when shit gets real, all of a sudden the voice completely,
Yeah, the gruff exterior lifts. You're like, help me, Dallas!
It's exactly, that's a very good impression. It's exactly that.
There you go. I trained to do a good impersonation I didn't.
I worked with that too, because I had the direction to be all over the place. So I felt a lot of freedom in that I didn't, and also with all respect to the original Ulf, he doesn't sound super manly all the time.
No,
since he's all over the place, that's fine. Sometimes he's like really, really manly and dangerous and horrifying, and sometimes he's kind of cartoonish. And I had a lot of fun with that. I don't know what they're gonna go with, if they feel that what I did matches that and how much of that they will use. But I enjoyed being like the electric shocks and allowing myself to be, I don't know, sound vulnerable, I guess. And that I feel like that would add something to the player experience, to feel like, oh shit, he like breaks character. For me, Wolf is a character. He has many characters. He is. These are my headcanon thing that people can ignore and say, no, he's wrong. It's not like that. But I'm thinking that he is kind of a little guy from Sweden in a big world, but is very talented and very ambitious and very passionate and very capable. So he can move around in that world. But I like the idea of him sometimes dropping the mask, as you would, literally, but that he drops a little bit of the, because all my friends who go over to America, they start to speak in a little like, and I don't want to name names, but Swedes that go over to Hollywood, they start talking in a specific way that they don't, but when they switch over to Swedish, they don't sound like that at all. It's an American way of speaking. I think it dates back to Dolph Lundgren. Mm-hmm. He was the original guy to do that. I played around with that, and just, it was a funny note, just the screaming and also when he gets scared. When he gets scared, he starts speaking more Swedish. There's one of the enemies that he's really afraid of. Which one is it?
Bulldozer?
It's a fucking dozer. Yeah. And I really played around with that. When we got the dozers, it was like, okay, now you're really, really afraid. And it's like, oh no, it's a fucking dozer! Come on, Chains, Hoxton, that was, help me, guys! I didn't say that out loud, but that was what I was thinking. Like, okay, now everybody else has to help me.
Chuckles, I'm in danger!
Yeah. This is actual danger. Yeah.
That's actually a good tie into one of the other questions, so we're going to jump ahead to that, which is Skull HD, who asked, does Wolf speak much Sweden? Does Wolf speak much Swedish with your portrayal?
Yeah, I did it almost every line. No, I mean, I felt it was a lot.
Yeah. But
maybe it won't be in the end product, I don't know. But they tried a lot of Swedish with me, and I had a lot of fun with that. It's a lot of quotes from movies and Swedish movies that will probably go over the head for most people, but I guess the writers had fun with that.
Well, it might be a good mix. I know they've had Jiro in before, and a lot of his lines were Japanese, so I know they're not like... Afraid's not the right word, but, you know, they're not afraid to have a character talking in a different language. Especially with somebody who's from their home turf. They want to have some Swedish in there, right? Surely. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
What about screaming? How much screaming was there for Wolf? That's something else Skull wants to know.
It was a fair amount. As I mentioned, I had a stint in being a lead vocalist in rock bands, what do you call it. For a while, it was like I'm a classically trained singer, but I have the ability to do the dist and the growl without it affecting my voice that much. I don't get tired. I'm proud to say, or that I was actually quite what do you call it? Hiss.
Yeah.
Horse.
Yeah.
Horse. Yeah, I'm a little horse. That's right. Yeah.
Take that line out of context.
I remembered horse. Yeah, I'm a little horse. I was horse. That gotta account for something.
Yeah.
Left it all on
commitment
the field,
to the
role. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so here's a question for possibly more for Pete and Damion from the Whistler, who wants to know. And again, you may not know this because we've talked about how voice lines all kind of blur together. Are you aware of like re-recording any particular iconic lines in Payday 3? So, Damion, you know what I'm thinking with you, Pickles in particular. Like, is anything you can think of that maybe you've re-recorded from 2 going into 3?
Chains never says the pickle line.
He doesn't. This is what I was going to say.
Bane. That was Bane talking about Chains. Chains never said anything about pickles. Ever.
But has he
never
now?
been a
That's the
Chains
question. Damion, has he now? Has he said it now?
Chains never said the pickle line.
I notice you keep saying it never said. There's no present tense here. What's going on?
Chains never said.
I almost want to just skip that question now and leave it on. No, Pete, is there any iconic lines you think you've said in the past that might have cropped up again that you can think of, if not?
Well, the only one I can think of was the ones you've already mentioned, which is the sniper, no sniping, and there was something about baked beans in there, and cups of tea. There's a lot of food references in there.
Any crumpets? There's got to be crumpet, right? Come on.
I don't think there was crumpet. There was a lot of wankers. A lot of that. No, nothing iconic, I don't think. No, but some plenty of new stuff.
Next one comes from Nebula127, who wants to ask all of you, what would you like to see out of your characters and out of the series as a whole going forward? You've all recorded your introductory Payday 3 lines now. Do you want to see your characters go in any direction? See any particular heists? Anything you'd be interested to record for?
I'd like to see more lines.
I mean, that's a good starting point, yeah.
No, particularly interacting. I would love to see some kind of storyline with Wolf, like get into a little bit of his weirdness and his background and why he is like the way he is, without ruining anyone's fantasies. But like I don't know. I'm thinking like something from his past, something that is gonna make everybody in the gang just go like this and what? Are you your ex-wife, or something like that?
Yeah,
it's
something to chew on. Yeah.
Yeah, something that will make him more of a character and less of a like what do you call it, crazy person. But don't take away the crazy and the fun and the
absolutely not. Yeah.
But something that makes all the other guys in the group go, what? You're
into knitting? What? Like it's just something like you don't expect. What about you, Damion? Any ideas for where you want to see Chains go? Anything you want to do with the character that you haven't done yet?
More Chains.
There you go.
Just more. Yeah.
We'll just leave it at that. Pete, what about you?
Well, I think we should pull off a heist in Sheffield. That would be the next step.
We need
Hoxton.
right. Can we just say we need more other country heists? Get one in Sweden. Come on,
Yeah.
I definitely do. That's one thing I've wanted. I've said this to them before. I want them to do more of a globe-trotting thing, and I think from what I'm getting the impression of from them, they're focusing on New York at launch, and they're going to try and go to other places as well. So I want to see an English heist. I don't know if they'll choose Sheffield. It'd be nice if they did. I'd love a Liverpool one, but that's never going to happen. I feel like they'll probably go London.
That'd be great. Maybe he has a cousin who lives in Liverpool.
I mean, there's a reason they use Liverpool to film for things like the Batman and stuff. There's some good stuff there. They could make something work. They could.
Yeah.
But they'll probably go London if they're doing it. Let's be fair. Well, let's not get our hopes up, Pete. It's not worth it.
Come on, we need to big up the North, don't we? It's levelling
Exactly.
up. Come on, that's what we need to do.
So yeah, so the general vibe is more lines. I was hoping you'd say that.
More stuff.
Imagine this is the moment where one of you just goes, actually, you know what, I think I've had enough. I think this is where I'm going to be signing off. And just like suddenly announce now, Nicklas isn't with his Payday mug. That was perfectly timed.
Well, you'd have quite a scoop, wouldn't you, if that was what was happening?
I know, yeah. Let's move on then to Cookie, who wants to know, do you guys think you'd each get along well with the characters that you're portraying? Immediately, the smoke, Damion, nope, not at all. Why not, Damion? Any reasons?
I mean, Chains is an asshole.
Perfectly described. Sums it up, right? Sums it up.
Well, actually, Chains is a fucking asshole.
I can imagine that in like a script, and it's just like, it's in italics, it's like, he's a fucking asshole, like, you need to note that.
He's not a nice person, you know what I mean? He's not... I mean, we had some fun with it, but yeah, I think, I don't know, he's kind of scary.
He is a little bit.
You know, not really, I kind of wouldn't really want to be around that guy.
What about you, Nicklas, though? If you and Wolf are both going to be on the dance floor, could you have a good time there, maybe?
Yeah, the thing is, it's a very good question. It's a very interesting question, and I wouldn't say right off the bat, no, I got to stay away from. I would be.
Yeah,
intrigued.
Damion.
I would be intrigued by that character. In all honesty, I've been around some shady people in my youth.
Some eccentrics.
Yeah, but also people who who abide by their own set of rules. And I've been around people like that, and they've always fascinated me because I'm not much of a rule breaker myself, but as an actor, I've always been interested in observing people. So I wouldn't say flat out no to that question. Actually, I think of all the characters, Wolf would be the one that I could. Yeah, let's go out and have a beer, and when he flips out, I could be like, oh, look over here, and I can just, and then find him afterwards and like, what happened? I don't know. I would be fast. No. I'm going to change my answer to a. What was the question? Yes.
You want to have a character study then, basically.
Yeah, I would like to hang out with him on the premise that he would not shoot me in the head.
See, that's the thing, though. I couldn't get that promise from Chains.
No, you couldn't. You couldn't.
I'm with Damion. No, Hoxton's a scary bastard, and I wouldn't go anywhere near him. No, I'd have to change my address. No.
Seems like Nicklas, you're a bit too welcoming, maybe, man. I don't know.
He hasn't spent as much time with him as we have.
Yeah, there you go.
That could be it.
The more time he gets involved, the more he's like, I don't know if I want to associate with this guy. God, I don't know.
It's a bit of a risk, maybe. Yeah, I like taking risks, but
maybe not that one specifically.
He'd be fascinating to observe, but I just not. No.
From a corner, like David Attenborough or something. Here we see.
Chains in his natural environment.
Okay, so Pututunik, I think that's how you say that name, wants to know, do you guys get any say in anything outside of voice lines? For instance, the outfits, because the outfits has been something that's been pitched from the studio as like, they're trying to show the character's personality more like Wolf's got cable ties to hold his sleeves up, Chains is just not wearing a jacket, he's got like a gilet on to show his muscles off a little bit more, Damion. I feel like that was, you angle for that. No. So did you guys get a choice there in anything outside of the voice lines, or is that all out of your control?
Yeah, we found out when you did.
We're not at that party.
That's the perfect answer. There you go. How about this? Let's rephrase. Do you think you guys would be interested in having a say if they ever asked you?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I mean, look, this is how I dress. Who am I to ask about dress codes? But I mean... Yeah, I think it's interesting to have an input into all sorts of stuff, really. But I can't see them ever asking my advice on how to dress Hoxton.
They want the Pete Gold stamp of approval. Come on, surely.
Yeah, he'd wear a scruffy polo shirt and shorts.
Maybe there'll be like a summer heist, and that will be the outfit. You don't know. Could be. Damion, what are you thinking?
I mean, they do a great job. I mean, it's if we went live action, I might be a little more. You would
be the one putting the outfits on, so you would hopefully get a say there.
So it would be, yeah, like movement wise and things like that. That would be. But in terms of the game, it's like, you know, whatever they choose to present is amazing. Like I said, it's and in live action would only be an aspect of what do you want me to do in the outfit, or what do you want me to be able to do in the outfit that would affect, you know, what I was wearing. But yeah, I'm like, you know, it's your world. I'm just throwing some throwing a little flavor in it. So
You're just happy to be there. Nicklas, what about you?
Same answer. I mean, in all honesty, and probably you could probably tell from my previous answer, I don't know that much about the characters or the character to other people know Wolf better than I do. So of course other people get to tell me what Wolf would look like. So
Well, with more time, you'll be getting more of your say. I feel like you've already given it, like you said, we've given it a bit of a spin. So as more time goes by, never know. It'd be good. It'd be interesting to get more of your guys' opinions on those things. But Damion does make a good point. They've got a good kind of point right now where they kind of know like the different vibes of the characters. I think it does work well, so that is nice. We're coming towards the end of the audience questions. A couple more. This next one is aimed at you specifically, Nicklas. There's two different questions. I'm going to kind of merge them because I think you've already kind of answered it, so it's kind of more of a follow-on previously. So this is for both combining Rainbow Fishcakes and Kin's questions. They want to know about outside influences, trying new things. So aside from what you've mentioned, do you think there's anything else outside of what you've taken from Wolf, and obviously, as you said, the bank robbing stories, anything else that maybe has played a factor into Wolf, whether you're aware of it or maybe subconsciously?
as I mentioned, and maybe subconsciously, I put some of the guys that I've hung around. Of course, yes, I put a little bit of them in there, and of course, yes, and my performance in English as Clark Olofsson in Clark, I think, was a huge inspiration for my performance.
And I think it's the best one you can get, like we said, right? Like how, like especially with it being such like a personal, like a Swedish bank robbing story for a Swedish character made by Swedish developers. It's poetry. It works really well.
Yeah, and I thought I saw that the production team that's gonna do the live action thing
is called Stockholm Syndrome. Yeah,
yeah. The name of that production company is Stockholm Syndrome, and I was like, "Whoa, this is a lot of things going around here." Yeah,
a lot of metatextual stuff going on.
Yeah, you never know. This Payday 3 Wolf might be like the peak for some people. This might be the ultimate. This might be Wolf reaching his true form. You never know.
My friend, that's what I've gone for.
Exactly. So let's see if everyone else can see it the same way. I think they will, and there's some good stuff there. Final audience question before we start to wrap things up, because I have a couple of things to close off with. Tape Filter 2000 wants to know, do you guys have any specific routines that you do before recording lines or just to get into character at all? Or is it just a switch?
When I've done it a bunch, it's a switch. You know what I mean? Like if we've done a few sessions and it's a switch, I like to actually do the first section over at the end of the session, as I've flown into, as I kind of, fell into more of the character. Like I'll say, all right, let's listen to the first few lines and see if we're matching up. Because sometimes, you'll kind of be in not quite in the space you get into once you get warmed up. So quite often I'll say, can we do that first section again at the end when I'm fully changed out?
It's a good point, actually. Yeah, you warm up into it, especially when there's a lot of screaming, which I know you said before, Pete. You've had moments where you've done so much screaming you had to have like a break because it's just like very intense.
Yeah, certainly in the very early days, and I hadn't really got used to the idea. 2 hours of solid screaming in a firefight situation, it took its toll, and they're very good about it now. We'll warm into the screaming stuff and then take a break after the screaming stuff. The stuff at Payday 3 there wasn't too much hard screaming to do, and in fact the whole thing seemed to be over quite quickly. I was like, come on, let's do some more. But it doesn't take much to get back into the character of Hoxton. Just I'll tend to, my key into it is to go, fucking hell, and then I'm in. That's it. Just a quick swear.
It's your passphrase. That's it now. Yeah. You give the passphrase, you're like, right, I'm in character. There we go.
It. Yeah.
Nicklas, anything else for your routine that you do to get into the character?
No, as I said, it was a lot in my head. It was a lot of I was very I was thinking about it a lot, and after a while, when I felt I had the character down, and actually, like the last 2 sessions, I didn't listen to Ulf's tape.
Oh,
I just remember
the training wheels came off.
yeah, I think so. I think I wanted to go in there and just make it my own as much as dared when I just felt I had my idea, his background, my idea of his background and who he was and what he was about, and then I just had fun with it. But no, just a tall glass of water, maybe some honey, and then
Off you go.
off you go.
That's it. Yeah, there you go. So what I'm basically hearing is you're all really good at your craft. You can just basically switch it on. There you go. So I can just sit here and be very impressed. Don't give me that look, Damion. That was a good compliment.
Yeah, no, that's 100% it. They just write in, no problem. As soon as we, there you go.
It's like, yeah. Well, hey, you led the answer. You were the one who came in with the confidence and said it was a switch, mate. I didn't do that. That was you.
What's that? After you've done it a few times in succession, it becomes a switch.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
I mean, your sessions now have gone over the case of the span of, 12 years? So I think you probably found the switch a while ago, maybe, you know? Well, that's all of the questions from the audience that I wanted to go through. And as we're coming up towards the end of the time, I want to give a chance for you guys to kind of mention things you're doing outside of Payday 3, whether it's things you've done since I've last spoken to you, if I've spoken to you before, or anything else that you would think people should get to know. If they want to get to know you and other things you've done, is there anything else that you direct them to? And aside from that, if you want to promote any social pages or anything you're doing as well, Damion, book, of course, then now's your chance. So it's a bit of like a shilling hour almost. So anything else you want people to know about, socials, projects, anything like that, go for it. The question is, who's first?
Pete.
There you go, Pete. Yeah, let's go back to the original order again. Pete, kick us off. Anything else people should know about from you? Get in contact or other work?
Well, I mean, I'm kind of busy all the time, and I do stuff for. I really enjoy doing stuff for Audible. I get involved in all cast audio dramas there, and I only ever get to play bit parts there, but it's huge fun. I really love that. And then outside of that, I'm heavily involved in music. I'm in a couple of choirs. I like doing that. That's just a local fun thing. And then I'm actually relaunching a sketch show that I was involved in over 20 years ago, and we're both having a midlife crisis, me and my friend Nick Swift. And we're putting the band back together and doing a sketch show in November. We've got a date in London and a date in Watford. And Nick's written a bunch of new sketches, and they're all great. And I have to write the songs. That's my part of the gig. So my homework is to go and write some songs for the sketch show we're doing in November. So I'm looking forward to that.
Will that be available online anywhere?
I don't know if there might be footage online eventually. Yeah, when we've done it, we might film it and stick the best bits online. But yeah, just for now, I don't think there's any. It's so long ago. It was like before the internet. We did it. Fit to Burst, we were called, and we last performed in about 2001, I think. So. Yeah, but watch this space, because I'll be making a noise about that on socials around October.
Hey, if you can get up north, Liverpool or Manchester show, I'll be there. You just let me know.
Well, thank you very much. Maybe we'll take it on tour, yeah.
Do it, definitely. And then if you do, then I'll film it, Damion, so then you'll be sorted on that front. What about you then, Damion? What else have you been up to?
There's been some game stuff. You guys are aware. You're aware of other game stuff I've been doing. There's some other game stuff I've been doing I can't talk about. And then there's obviously the book.
Remind everyone what that's called so we can find it.
It's called The Sundering, The Nation Beneath Our Feet. It's still a Kickstarter. I'm Damion Poitier everywhere but Twitter. Everywhere but TikTok. TikTok, I'm Damion.Poitier.
I didn't even know you had a TikTok. I'm going to follow you right now while we're talking.
Yeah. But yeah, and there's a lot of horse content. Occasional workout stuff. And all that.
The horse stuff's so good, though. I love that.
Oh yeah, Sammy's awesome. I love him so much. He's so crazy. I got a good vid I'm about to put out. I guess I'll put it out next week now, since this airs on Saturday, right?
Yeah, all being well, this will be up on Saturday.
Right. So it may be up, it may not. We'll see how my timing works out. But there's another video, because one of my videos with him went viral.
What did you do?
Yeah, which one was that?
Him licking my head.
Oh, yeah. I'm not really surprised by that, to be fair.
It's about 30 seconds of me just sitting there with a blank expression while Sammy licks my head. It went viral on TikTok. It's on Instagram. But, yeah, it's me and my horses, mostly me trying not to get mauled by his love.
I can see the difference in the view. Yeah.
His head is like a meter. Like, his head is huge.
Blimey.
And he just, and he thinks he's a puppy. He doesn't understand that he's
beautiful.
A giant horse. So he's always like, if you see a video, that's going to be that much of what actually happened. Because by the time I get the camera out and get everything set up, he's been doing it for a while.
Oh, it's beautiful. Though.
But if you want to see a horse maul a human with love, go to my TikTok. Go to Instagram.
What a phrase! Oh, speaking of Pete, what were the actual socials people can follow you on? Because we didn't actually touch on that. We were talking about the other stuff. The comedy. I got distracted by the show.
Well, actually, you know what? I don't do Twitter very much anymore. If you want to know why, it's because it took up too much room on my phone and I couldn't work out how to slim it down. So I've actually deleted it from my phone. So I only do it like once a week, once a fortnight. But yeah, Twitter, I think I'm Pete Gold _. And then Instagram, I'm like Pete Gold Voice or something like that.
Yeah, Pete Gold Voice.
And then Facebook, I only stick to like personal stuff. I've got like a page. I've got Pete Gold voiceovers on Facebook, I think, that I need to be a bit more proactive with.
Do you think we'll ever see a return to Hoxton On Demand?
Yeah, no, do you know what? It's a shame. I didn't have time to keep that up. I did it for, I think, a couple of years, and then work got on top of me, and I haven't done it. And I dread to think what's waiting for me on there when I do eventually check it, because it's been 7 or 8 years since I actually checked it.
Well, you could always do like a post on there and just say, a fallen behind. I'm going to start a new queue now, so anything you want, re-request it.
Maybe.
That could be a way to kind
Maybe
of beat
that.
it.
If I get around to doing that, it'll be in 2024, because the rest of this year is looking a bit too hectic. But yeah, I should. It was a nice way to say thank you to everyone.
Well, that's what you want. That's what you want in acting, right? You want to be booked and busy.
Yeah, it's true.
Nicklas, what about you? Anything else you're up to, or any social page that you want to share?
I'm not proud, but I'm proud of myself that I got it done and updated my homepage to just updated it, because I hadn't done that in like 5 years. And so now it's up to date with all the fun stuff I've been up until now for 20 years of my career. So it's in English now. So for you guys. So check that out if you want to know more about what I'm about. And you can listen to some theme songs I've done. It's all in Swedish, of course, like Disney stuff, and also some live performances as a singer, mostly musicals.
I'm gonna have a fun night tonight looking at all this stuff.
Yeah, and then I'm with Pete there. I'm not big on social media. I just checked. I did my last post on Instagram was the year 2020.
I thought you were going to say 2000 then for a second, and I was like, wow, that has been a while.
I literally just followed you on Instagram. Now you have to post something fresh now.
Oh, there you go. You're being badgered into it.
I think I did too.
For you guys, I will.
Hey, you can post that you're doing the interview, Nicklas. There you go. When that comes out, that could be your post.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, for sure. I promise. When this thing hits, it's gonna be on Instagram. That is I have to check. Nicklas Berglund as one word on Instagram, and my homepage is Nicklas Berglund. No, wait a minute. NiklasBerglund.se. Yeah.
I'll leave links to everything, by the way. What everyone watching, everything will be in the description. So anything they mention, you can check out the links. If you don't want to search it up, I've got you covered. Don't worry.
Yeah,
they'll have everything covered. That's fine.
Yeah, Christmas Eve 2020, bro. You got to update, bro.
I wasn't expecting social media bullying. This is crazy. Oh, there you go. Well, all I've got to say beyond that, guys, is thank you all for being here. It's a genuine pleasure. Like I said, I've not done an interview with more than one person before, especially for a Payday event like this. So for you all to be here and for us all to have a nice chat has been so much fun. So thank you guys all for being here. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for
putting it together, man. It's pretty awesome to finally, kind of have the crew together.
Yeah.
Yes, nice. First time ever.
Yeah, and hopefully we can bring Simon in next time and have another big crew thing. So
yeah,
I'm putting a trademark in now. If anyone else asks to assemble them, you say no. It's just for me.
Save it for you.
I'll have NDA sent to you soon. Don't worry. No, seriously, thank you all. Absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Troy.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.